everyone. Thank you for registering for ADManager webinar and most importantly, taking time off your busy schedule and joining me for today's session. If you've tuned in for this session, I assume you were part of the other three sessions which were held as a part of the What's New webinar series. So we had other presenters talking about different products. And hopefully by the end of this series, that is today, you will have gained a good understanding and gotten some pretty good insights into what is new with the managed engine solutions, especially the AD solution suite. So thank you once again. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you've signed in from. I hope all of you are doing well, you're keeping safe. So just like any other sessions, you can always ask any questions that you may have. You can make use of the chat option and or the Q&A option, and then definitely post any questions you may have. What I usually do is I answer them live, so it will benefit you as well as our other attendees as well. Now, before I begin with the session, I hope my audio is clear and you can see my screen as well. So if you have any technical glitches, you can please let me know using the chat console. And also some of you have messaged me asking about some of the sessions that you missed. Probably one of the other product sessions which were hosted last week. So you will be getting a consolidated playlist of all the 4 sessions, starting from our first session till the session that we are having today. So you will receive it on your registered email address. You can access them in case if you missed that. Also, you can, in case you want to revisit them for any of the clarifications that you may have, then please feel free to make use of the playlist that will be sent to your email very soon. So once again, I welcome all of you. And as the name suggests, we're going to be talking about the new features in ADManager Plus. So I have picked the top few enhancements and features with respect to the tool. And I'll be giving a quick demonstration of where or how you can do that using the solution. So again, just to benefit our attendees who are here, who are not familiar with ADManager Plus, I'll just give a very quick introduction of what the tool is about, what it does. So it's predominantly an Active Directory management and reporting solution. Again, I don't want to mention the term just Active Directory because as you can see here in the next point, that it supports management in Active Directory, Microsoft 365 MS Teams, which is a recent release, Exchange. If you've been with us for a while, you would know these are some of the products, platforms that we support management, both your provisioning as well as your reprovisioning and also reports. And similarly, the tool offers more than 200 reports as of now. And the reports are pre-built, they are just clickable. You can just access the information by selecting the report, and these reports can be scheduled to be sent to your inbox. Multiple email addresses are supported. You can also export them in multiple formats. So these reports, apart from the pre-built ones, the tool also offers custom reports, meaning you can choose your own conditions, you can set your own filters, what data needs to appear, all of that can be done. And once you configure or you create a custom report, that it functions just like any other report. You get that information by just clicking the name of the report that you have done for yourself, right? So that's how the custom reports work. And so I have a question from one of our attendees. Skype for Business is replaced by Teams. ADManager Plus also provides reports related to Teams. So as of now, we only support provisioning in Teams where you can assign your policy and packages. Reports is something that we've been, the development team is working on. So once that is released, then you will be knowing with the help of the release notes, which gets rolled out every couple of months, right? So yeah, so as I was saying, reports is one such feature with comes within as a part of the ADManager Plus console. And moving on, we have the automation feature, which allows you to automate some routine actions like your user provisioning, your unlock accounts, your reset password, deprovisioning, like your stale account cleanup, and so on, right? So all of that can be automated, and you can choose that to run on a specific date and time. And you can also customize or you can trigger alerts through email or SMS anytime an automation is run, right? If it's a success or a failure, if you want to know the status of your automation, then that can be configured as well. Moving on to delegation. So delegation is, again, as the name suggests, you're delegating actions to technicians, but in contrast to the delegation, the built-in delegation wizard in the AD console, here you can granularly choose what roles that a technician can have, what permissions, how they can access, how the layout of the console will look for them. All of that can be customized, and you can always stay on track, or stay on top of all those actions that these technicians are performing with the help of the audit reports. So even after you've delegated the roles or the privileges to the technicians, you still want to stay on top of that, and you want to be aware, or you want to have an audit trail, then the comprehensive audit reports will help you with that. And the last point that I've mentioned here is monitoring your any task with the help of a workflow. Again, workflow works like a very simple request and approve mechanism, wherein a user will raise a request for any action, any permission that he needs, and it goes through multiple channels, multiple checkpoints, and that could be the user's manager, or could be another senior employee who will validate that request. And once it has been validated, then only it will be sent to the IT administrator for execution. So this is a great way to reduce or avoid any unauthorized changes or any malicious requests that are raised by the user. And since it goes through a series of checks through these managers or any other employees, then if the request is of suspicious nature, it will be flagged and rejected, meaning the request will never reach the IT administrator. So these are just some of the key points in ADManager Plus that I've listed here. Again, if you'd like to know more in depth about these features, what I would recommend is signing up for our ADManager Plus workshop series. They happen for the other products as well. So if you receive this email on this particular webinar invite on your email, do stay tuned for the workshop series invites as well. So if you receive that, and if you're curious to know about ADManager Plus or any other products in depth, I recommend you to sign up for the workshop, because that is in depth, and that happens over a period of 5 days, 5 sessions to be precise, and that goes into each of these modules in depth with different use cases. Right, so moving on, again, as the topic is new features, I'm going to just quickly right away start off with the new features of ADManager Plus. Again, the version that we are using right now, the latest version is 7.102. So if you're using ADManager Plus right now, do let me know in the chat boxes, just for my understanding, which version are you using right now, if you can remember that. This particular version that I will be showing you is 7.02, released in June. And if you're using one of the earlier versions, I would recommend to upgrade to the latest version to reap the benefits that the new version or the latest versions give. Right, so I'm just going to keep an eye out for any of the messages, the versions that you're using. So this is just to understand where you are at this point, and hopefully by the end of the session, you will probably be encouraged to upgrade to the latest version because of all the new features we have. Right, so the first up, I want to talk about the integrations. So integrations with the ITSM tools. So if you're already using ADManager Plus, you must be aware that we do support integrations with some ITSM applications like Zendesk, Service Desk Plus, and so on, right? So the latest addition to this, which I'll be showing you as a demo itself, are Jira and Freshservice. So I'm just going to quickly log into the solution and then show you the integrations part. So as you can see here, this Service Desk Plus, ServiceNow, Zendesk, all of these you must be familiar with. Right. Thank you, Ahmed. I've just received your response. So you are using 7062, right? So as you can see here in the support app, the version that we're using is 7102, right? So you can always download the service pack I will be sharing the links for that as well at the end of the session, so you can upgrade to the latest version. Right, so coming back to the admin settings integration, now, I just want to bring to your attention the recent enhancements or the recent addition are Jira and Freshservice, right? So if you're using any of these tools and if you'd like to integrate that with ADManager Plus, I in fact have a setup of both Jira and Freshservice configured in my environment. So first up, I just want to take you through the configuration part if you're interested. If you're already using Jira, I'm sure you're familiar with how this works, but anyway, I'll take you through the configuration or the integration setup is quite easy. First up is first is, of course, installing ADManager Plus in from the marketplace on the Jira console. So that's what we're going to be doing first. So I've already done that, but I should still show you how this can be done. So on the top right corner, we have Manage Apps, the settings. So I'm just going to log in, right? So this is the marketplace wherein you can search the name of the product and then you can add them here, right? So I've already added ADManager Plus. So as you can see here, it is part of the manage apps, and as well as on the LHA, since I've already configured ADManager Plus, I have the setup as well as some other options to make this, refine this version that I have, right? So ADManager Plus, as you can already see here, that I've installed, and the first step when you install this is you will have to configure the settings, which is what you can access here. So I have my instance of ADManager Plus here. So what I've done is I've given my URL, given my credentials, and then just establish the connection. And then once that is done, similarly, the same process will have to be done for the Jira option here as well. So again, you'll have to just click on that particular option, and then you can configure it, right? So quickly taking you back. So let's say if you have a certain set of technicians in ADManager Plus and Jira, and the idea is the integration has to work when these technicians have access to both, right? So in ADManager Plus, let me just show you the technicians that I have configured. Coming to delegation tab, so these are my technicians. If you want to add one technician or two or more than that you're free to do so. You can edit this. So as you can see, all the 4 technicians in ADManager Plus are reflected here as well because we have established the connection. And similarly, the user and all of that can be configured if you have more than one user, right? So this auth token can be generated in the ADManager Plus app. So under the delegation settings, right here under the configuration, we have technician auth tokens. So you click on generate auth token, and once you get the auth token, you enter this over here, right? So again, I have just this one technician here with one super admin role. You can add multiple users here. So just click on this associate user option, and then you can add any other technician as well. So again, the only condition is the technicians that you've configured here should be the same technicians you've configured in ADManager Plus. Another tab, which with respect to ADManager Plus, is a support tab, very similar to the tab that we have in the ADManager Plus console, which will basically just link you to some of the important, like your KB, your contact us details, and store and so on. So this is just the backend. Once this is done, then we will move on to the how you can access this particular or how you can carry out these actions from your Jira console. So I'm just going to quickly pause here for a question from Jeff. Sorry, how can we set an automated disabling of inactive users of 90 days? This can be done in ADManager Plus itself. So what I'll be doing, so what I would recommend, Jeff, is to sign up for our workshops because we go very in depth with that particular topic, this deprovisioning. So that will give you a very clear understanding. I will in fact show you all the steps that you need to do with respect to the deprovisioning in ADManager Plus. So I hope that answered your question. So I'm just going to quickly show you the options in Jira right? So I'm just going to access one project here. So let's say like any ticket has been assigned for a technician, could be any action, right? So could be for creating user, could be for resetting password, could be for enabling or disabling user. So I just want to bring to your attention that not all the actions in all management actions in ADManager Plus can be accessed from the Jira console. So as you can see on the right hand side, these are the options that are supported as of now. That is create, delete, enable, disable user, reset user password, unlock user, add users to group, remove users from groups. Right. So all you have to do is just click on any of the option here. So I'm just going to try creating a user. So I'll just enter some basic details like the first name, last name, and the password. You can fill in these details. And then I click on create user, right? So again, the idea is you're using the Jira console and the action will be done through ADManager Plus, as in the module ADManager Plus management module will help in creating the user. So we have created the user, and of course you would need to keep track of these changes, right? Whatever actions that these technicians are performing. And that's why we have the audit report once again. So as you can see, the technician name was Manager Plus Admin. What was the action? It was create single user. The module used is Jira Service Desk when it was done, right? And what was the name of the object that was created and the status, right? So additional details that we've configured will be fetched here if you click on the details option. So this is just to keep track of the actions that the technicians are performing. Right, so the other options, as you can see here, are delete, disable, enable, reset user password, unlock users, add or remove, basically modify the group memberships of the user. So the idea is if you have a technician who has logged into, who is using Jira, you do not want them to have access to ADManager Plus, or you do not want them to toggle between these multiple tools to perform these actions. Instead, just carry out this particular action, like right now, for instance, the create user option. Then you just have to access it from the Jira console, right? Rather than using multiple tools. Just going to pause here for a couple of questions that I've received. I cannot find this info under audit report. So in case if you have not configured any technicians and this particular technician has not performed any action for a particular period, right? So then the action, if the, let's say if you've configured last 30 days or last 90 days or your custom range, and if you've selected a technician who has not performed an action, then you will not have data. Probably try running the report for maybe for a technician who has performed an action, just to check if that's the case, if the action has not been carried out using ADManager Plus, then there will not be any information, right? So if the technician has performed any action using ADManager Plus or the Jira console, then only the data will appear. Otherwise, there's not going to be a data, right? So in this case, I created a user using ADManager Plus through the Jira Service Desk Plus console, and which is why my action got tracked here, and which is why you can see this information. So if you're using Service Desk Plus, and if you've used the Service Desk Plus console to carry out these actions, then you will have a report which you can see very similar to this over here as well. Again, Jira could be Freshservice, could be Service Desk Plus, could be Zendesk or ServiceNow. You will have that action. You will have an audit trail of all those actions under your audit report. Right. So if you're still facing any difficulty in spite of carrying out all these actions, I would recommend getting in touch with the support team. They will help you troubleshoot that. Thank you, Ahmad. I hope I answered your questions. Right. So moving on to just giving a quick introduction to the Freshservice console. Again, these settings are very similar to that of Jira. First up, we want to download or install the app from the marketplace. So the admin option on the bottom left corner will give you the access to apps. So right here we have the option to install the app, which is again ADManager Plus in this case. So click on get more apps, choose the name of the app over here, and then install it. So I've already installed ADManager Plus, so it's under the custom apps option. Again, the first step is of course enabling configuring your server details, your credentials, and so on, just like the Jira console. Again, once that is done, so this is already installed, which is why the option to install is grayed out. So that's done, and then there will be an option to integrate, right? So that is already taken care of. Once that is integrated, again, how do you access your tickets? You go to the ticket section, the repository where you have all your tickets that have been assigned to you. And let's say if you have a ticket that has been assigned for creating a user or resetting a password or enabling or disabling an account, so on, right? So any of that, the supported actions, since we have enabled the integration, on the top on the right you have the option for apps, and then if you click on the arrow you will get these options. So you can click on a create user or any of these actions, just like that. Choose your domain, choose your template. Again, the template that you see here is what that has been created or what that you've configured in ADManager Plus. So whatever you've done there, whatever templates you've created, that will be listed in the drop down box right here, and enter your relevant details and click on create user. So this is how the integration works as well. Again, just like what we've done in the admin settings, you'll have to do some similar configuration in the admin settings of ADManager Plus as well. So the integrations option will give you an option to configure them, right? So you click on the relevant tool and then you can enable it, right? So that's how this works. So again, I don't, this is very similar. The process is similar for the other tools as well. If you're using Service Desk Plus or any of these tools, and if you've not enabled integration until now, then I would recommend you to try this out and just let us know what you thought. You can always get in touch with our support team for a detailed demo if necessary. Right, moving on to the next feature, which is again, this is one of the major features that have been released. Rest of them are enhancements, so I'll just quickly touch upon them, will not spend too much time. We've added more capabilities to the GPOs, right? The GPO reports to be specific. So if you've been using the solution, you must be familiar with how the reports are categorized in ADManager Plus. So we have the user reports, the password, the groups, the exchange, contact, all the Microsoft 365 related reports are categorized. Both the management as well as the reporting features are categorized under the Microsoft 365 tab just for ease of use. And we have the reports, GPO specific reports categorized under GPO reports. So just 4 reports that have been added recently. One is your GPO settings, where you get all your administrative templates details. So that will be listed here. You can choose your GPO, choose your domain, and get that information. Similarly, GPO with specific settings. So you can choose a setting for a GPO, any particular GPO, and then you will get the details for that as well. So I'm not going to be generating because again, this is just one particular domain that I have configured for here, and this doesn't have extensive data. So which is why I'm just going to quickly show you the reports alone. Moving on to the GPOs with script. So if you have any log on or log off script or anything configured for your GPOs in that particular domain, that will be listed here as well. And your compare GPO versions, right? For especially if you want to identify your inconsistent GPOs where there has been some replication issue, then you can choose to just select that and then click generate. So if you have data, you will get that information. In this case, there are no inconsistent GPOs, which is why I don't have data. Right. So that is new. That is the latest with respect to GPO. Moving on, you must be, if you've been using the file server permission settings for both management as well as for your reports, then initially we had just the option to add. So before you manage the NTFS or share permissions, the first step is to manage your file servers, as in you have to add them here, your Windows file servers, and then you can modify them and then you can get your information in the form of reports. Now, the recent addition is we have added the option to modify the NetApp as well as your Isilon servers. So if you click on this, you can add them manually, and then once it has been detected, then you will be able to perform the permission settings that you can see here, right? So it was earlier, it was just the Windows file servers. Now we have added these two servers as well. Similarly, you will be able to view reports with respect to these two servers once again in the NTFS reports, right? So you will have that information listed too when you select any of that report. Right, Microsoft 365, again, this is one particular domain where we've been constantly working on. We've made it a lot more comprehensive. We've added a lot more reporting capabilities, management capabilities, and we've categorized it in one bundle or one tab, so it'll be easy for you to access. Now, with respect to groups, the recent addition is the group templates, right? So earlier we could create groups, both single as well as bulk. And just to make the group creation for Microsoft 365 groups, distribution and mail enabled security groups and dynamic distribution groups, now we have enabled the templates. So the templates, if you're familiar with the templates for ADManager Plus for other objects, users or any other objects, this works exactly the same way. You pre-configure the attributes well in advance. You choose add them to groups, you configure the settings, and then whenever you're creating groups, right, so you just have to invoke this template. Could be if you're creating multiple groups at the same time and you do not want to, if you want to avoid any data entry errors that could come in when you enter those details one by one, then the templates are handy, right? So this is how you can create your templates. You just, again, the enable drag and drop option will allow you to remove these tabs if you want to hide them, if you want to set them as mandatory, right? Certain attributes as mandatory, all of that can be modified in the template section. So this is just to make your work easier when you are creating groups as well as your Microsoft 365 groups, as well as your distribution and mail enabled security groups and your dynamic distribution groups. So this is how it the group creation templates, these three options, is a recent addition with respect to Microsoft 365. And the final option is just a security update. So we've just added this as a part just to improve on the security front. So quickly taking you through the admin settings. So earlier we had the option for only SSL. Now you can configure TLS as well. So the admin settings on the LHS, we have server settings, and the advanced settings over here, you had this SSL was the default option. And then now we've added TSL as well, TLS as well. So you can enable this, just a security update, right? So that brings us to the end of the latest updates with respect to ADManager Plus. So I hope I did not pick I didn't pick every other enhancement and feature that came out in the last couple of releases, but I picked the top features and enhancements alone in the last few releases. So what I'll do is I will send the link to the release notes. So you can always check this out in case if you have any questions, right? So you want to know which version you're using right now, which particular version supports these features that I talked about, and so on. So the release notes, which I've shared on the chat, will give you an understanding of that. It's quite gives you like a quick highlights of all the recent enhancements and releases. So as you can see on the screen, and let's say if you're using any of the earlier versions, right, probably like one of our attendees is using a 7.0 version, then if you would like to upgrade to the latest version, then I would recommend to update or install a service pack, and that link also has been shared on chat. So this is how you can upgrade to the latest version. So that The steps to do that is also very simple. It's been listed here. And if you do have any questions, you do know that our support team will help you for troubleshooting any demo that is required for this particular step, which is the service pack installation. With that, we have reached the end of the session. Before we leave for the day, I would request, I'll be sharing a poll on the screen as of now. So this is just to understand, for my understanding, if you're using ADManager Plus or if you're evaluating any of the solutions. And if you're evaluating the solutions, would you like us to get in touch with you for a detailed demo? Right, that demo will be held online. It's free. You can avail it, and then you can, if you have any specific questions, you can address that, get that addressed in our sessions, or if you would like our technical members to get in, give you a full-blown trial of or a walkthrough of the solution, then you can access, you can give the option yes here as well. So the recording will be sent to you once we process all these videos. So just give or take a couple of days, you will be receiving it on your email very soon, the entire playlist. Great, thank you so much. So I request you to just stay with us for a minute or so and just let us know what you thought about today's session. So I'm just going to wait for another 10-15 seconds or so, because we're still getting responses for the first poll that you're seeing on your screen. Yes, all the 4 webinar sessions will be sent to you. In case if you missed any of the sessions, you can access that as well. Right, so this second one is a feedback poll. Do let me know what you thought about today's session. I'll be able to see the responses live, so it will be even more better. So if you can just let me know, just a couple of seconds. I'll be sharing this with my team as well. And if you do have any questions, what I will do is I will leave my email address on the chat window, so you can feel free to drop an email if you have any questions. Lovely, thank you so much. Just going to keep the screen on for another 5 to 10 seconds, and then I'll end the poll as well. Great, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it. Most of all, really appreciate the time that you took off your day and joining me for today's session. I hope the session was useful and you got an understanding of the latest features with respect to ADManager Plus. And if you're not evaluating ADManager Plus, then probably you would have got some understanding of what the tool is about. So I hope to see all of you for our next event. Until then, take care and stay safe.